One.
Dude, welcome back to the Dudes of Sports podcast. I'm your host, PC, and of course, we've got another great episode for you today. Lots of sports happening, some spring baseball happening, some college basketball winding down. So we're just gonna get on to it. First, let's go see what the fellas are up to. Main man from way out west, how's it going?
Pretty good. Glad to be on once again. I'm just lacing them up real quick. I got the sweatshirt. I got the gloves. We're ready to go. Big UFC event. One of the better fight nights. We'll get into it more, but very good card, especially with all the stuff that happened kind of in between the card. And it wasn't that bad of a card on paper beforehand. I think it just looked worse because of all the cancellations and all that stuff. We'll talk more about it. I saw Dana White. I breathe the same air as Paige Van Zandt. Stay tuned. Dudes at Sports. Nowhere else can you get this kind of insight. Nowhere else.
It's like we're almost experts, kind of.
Hello,
Maybe, not
folks.
really. K-Stout, how's it going?
Oh, going pretty well. Just finished up my last regular season game down at Evangel University in Springfield, Missouri, the epicenter of the Assemblies of God Church. So some fine, interesting people. It is by far the most expensive.
Patrick's gonna name his next kid.
Probably. It is by far the most expensive and nice gymnasiums I've been in. They have suites at this NAIA school.
So you get in Catholic schools.
This is a Protestant denomination, I think.
Is that the ones that don't think they get bit by snakes?
I don't know. Here, I'm going to try to pull up their arena. This thing is, like, truly sick nasty.
If only we had some sort of mechanism to do stuff beforehand.
Yeah, something, I don't know, like being prepared for the podcast or
Hold on.
whatever.
I got it.
God created a concept of things to not do them right now.
Oh, wow, that is pretty nice.
So, there's the suites up there. They got, and you listen,
That is a nice looking gym.
yeah, for an NAI school,
For NAIA,
it's
especially,
pretty
yeah.
darn cool.
Jumbotron too.
Yeah, so
You
they
should
got-
put some shit up on the wall. Right?
They got one right here, and then they got another one over there. And this is their radio booth, dude, and their tables over here. And by the way, it's built new this year, so the sound system is just truly remarkable. Truly remarkable. So, congratulations to Evangel.
Evangel, shout out.
What a fantastic environment, too. Got some booze, got some good, excitement. All the things you want to see.
Do you think they were booing you? Did they boo you?
Oh, yeah. For a couple of times, they booed me with maybe a no call or something like that.
How does
But
that affect you as a referee?
not too bad. I just, my main goal is to call balls and strikes, at a consistent level for both teams. And balls and strikes is what we call fouls or no
Basketball
fouls.
reference.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what we call fouls or no
That's
fouls.
a little inside baseball for basketball.
Whoa. It was fun.
Because it wouldn't surprise me if Kyle was out there calling balls and strikes.
Strike! And one?
Can we check to see if that was on the corner? Other than that,
Yes.
I got my
What is
first
that? ABS?
ABS system.
Yeah, ABS.
I saw my
Is that what happens when you can't shit or something?
That's IBS.
Oh.
Yep. I got my first playoff
Thanks, Rob
game.
Manfred.
Yep. So I got
Every Japanese kid is already signing up to play with the Dodgers, but no, we need to see if that referee really saw what he think he saw.
Gotta give the players more power in the MLB system at these times.
Translators more power.
Yeah, they need all the power, honestly. They be gambling with them.
God, these
and
guys are held at gunpoint to do fucking.
No. They told him to gamble, steal his money away, and
45
gamble it
years
away.
in prison. All the motherfucker did was help him out.
Yeah. Just did what he asked, and then Shohei's like, I don't speak English. Don't speak English.
Idea. I had no idea what he was doing that whole time. Did you notice $500 million missing? What 500?
No, really? 500 million? Jeez, that's like walking around money. I don't even know what that is at this point. Dudes and Sports Podcast, we've officially made actually like $3. So like, shout out Jess, by the way. Jess gave us money, not today, but like 3 weeks ago, gave us $1.50 Venmo each for us. We actually made money off of this. So shout out Jess, our number one supporter. You saw all the cents. I'll pull up the transactions right now.
I haven't gotten $1.
You got $1.50 from everybody.
Did I
It was
really?
$4.50. Yeah, I'm like 99.9999999%.
It's a lot of nines.
Live Venmo. Everybody $1.50. Transactions.
I did. Oh, I think I did get.
Yeah,
something
right here.
Live. I'm looking.
January 12th, minus $1.25 to Peyton Bonaventura. Because that's his government name, folks. You didn't know that. You can look him up on his social security number is 1255469999. So you can go ahead and steal that for his information too. But yeah. So, anyways, let's get back on track here a little bit. I know we like to get off track a little bit once in a while, but $1.25, man. You're $1.25 richer thanks to Dude Sports. You know, don't ever say I didn't do anything for you. I gave you $1.25. I did incredible for the not even year one, and we already made $4.50.
We have to get this claim.
It probably, honestly, it was probably a tax break. They'll probably give us $1 back. All right, let's move on. We'll talk a little quickly NFL. I know it's off season, but we're gonna go back over.
I have something semi-sports related that Jess asked me today.
What?
Jess did send me a text today. I hope he's on here eventually.
I don't know if he is yet. He may be coming in shortly.
But this is important, Kyle. You're gonna love this. Maybe we talk about this off pod because it is ridiculous. The question said, and I quote, "Would you vote Democratic if Stephen A. Smith was the nominee?"
If he was the Republican nominee or
The Democrat.
I think he's gonna run Democrat. But I thought it was just a ridiculous. I know that it's the rumors been out there. We are some people's leader in sports information and all.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Maybe we should cover the topic.
Yeah.
Starting with you, K-Stel, what do you think about Stephen A. Running for president? I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
What I will say to that area is I believe that Stephen A. Smith, although his takes are like in sports are sometimes silly, he is a very strong. He does not like to have his opinion taken away from him. And if he went up to the DNC and said, "I would like to run with you guys," the DNC right now would go, "Here's what you need to run on," and he simply just wouldn't take it. Unless the DNC wants to change the way they think, which is back to moderate, then he does have a shot. I don't know who I vote for until literally it gets there. But he doesn't say awful things for a Democratic nominee. Like, he's pretty down the middle. I guess it goes to like society wants or needs and something like that, but that's not really a huge defining factor when most people, though. It normally comes down to economics and stuff, and if Stephen A. Smith doesn't really have a good economic policy that he can provide to the table, then I don't know if anyone would vote for him. I think social issues, maybe he can get some people's votes out there, and he can definitely be a very passionate speaker on the stage. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, hey, can I spend more money and take more money in? That's all we want to know. And if he can't do that, then no one's going to vote for him.
Great political insight there from K-Stel. Just classic act. Yeah, so NFL mock draft season, we're right up in the corner of this. Great transition, right? That's just how smooth that was. Unbelievable. Since Stephen A. Smith covers football, I might as well cover football too, because we would be better candidates than Stephen A. Smith as presidential candidate.
So BC let his idea slip.
Better than me. Not better than P4. I think P4's winning the votes out of all three. Shout out in the comments. Let's do a vote right now in the comments. Out of us three, who would you have as being the next president? Who would you vote for out of the three dudes in sports members?
How is Kyle's room look right now?
He's got the California vote. Let's go. Got the California vote.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
So, shout out Cole Weber.
NFL mock draft season. Let's go back through some of the picks that the dudes had last week for their teams. Obviously, Howard's not here right now. He said he might be getting on a little bit later. I heard he was saving the iguanas in South America.
Illinois. Spoiler alert.
He's in Illinois.
Why did you absolutely put our boy on blast there? He's in Illinois, one of the worst states.
Security number.
You're right. Shout out again. If you need to go back, just go back about 10 minutes, and you'll find it there right in center.
Way.
Go buy a credit card with
We've
it.
been live for 10 minutes.
Close enough. It's been about 9.
Rewatch the podcast.
Might as well.
Go back. Watch it
Might as
again.
well.
He said Jay Cutler. He just said Jay Cutler for president.
Yes! Smoking Jay. That's someone I can get behind.
So speaking of Jay Cutler and NFL football, those are trying to segue to the mock draft for the 30th time of the podcast in the last 7 minutes. Got it. Gotta keep the train rolling. If I don't, nobody else will. We'll talk about dumb crap for 45 minutes, and then we're like, what were we talking about? NFL mock draft season. I picked an offensive lineman last week. K-Stel, did you pick an offensive lineman?
No, I picked Nick
Scorton
or Nick Scorton.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the Jets, main man from way out west. Who did you pick for the Jets for your pick again?
Did you not
so you can review for the fans out there who you picked.
Did you write it down? Do you know that?
No, I didn't write it down.
Okay.
No.
I think it was Jackson Dart, and I think we're still there. I have a tweet to bring up that will.
Okay, yeah. So let's just great transition into there. Main man from way out west picks quarterback for the Jets. Does your opinion agree to stay
Lane
the same
Kiffin,
after this
child.
last week?
Jets.
How are the New York Jets?
Obviously, we're the biggest Jets podcast in the world.
Shout out Vinny Pasquantino and Jonathan India.
Jonathan India.
Hey, if you guys want to show up on the
Vinny
pod.
Pasquantino, by the way, third most home runs
on one side,
current MLB.
Yep, on one side of the.
Never had an Oppo home run.
He did say that he hit one in live ABs. He said, "Does that count?" He said it.
And then Brooksgate did reply to that, and they said this one would have been a home run in 6 ballparks. And he went 0 for 4 in a game in Toronto last year, where he had 3 shots to opposite field that probably should have been gone. But that's neither here nor there.
He also hasn't played a full season of baseball yet, so.
Oh my fucking god! Save it for the Royals section. I saw this the other day. So who did the Jets use? Let's use a little bit. Maybe this should be one of the questions. Who did the Jets use as like their main people to help in this hiring process? There's a sports analytics company that the Jets have been using. Do either of you follow this?
I do.
33rd team.
I don't know who they use.
Have you heard of the 33rd team? Do we know what the 33rd team is? It's sports analytics.
Yeah,
it's mostly football. It's ran by Chris Spielman, Mari Mitrov or whatever, the guy who kind of breaks news like Schefter. He's a part of the 33rd team, so it's like a news break. It's also an analytics. They do their own kind of rankings similar to PFF. They do this kind of whole thing, and apparently they spearheaded the Jets head coach and GM search. And then they ended up hiring Kevin Spielman or whatever the fuck the guy's name is. He was the Vikings GM a couple years ago. He's like a personnel assistant kind of guy. So we're pretty much in bed with this whole fucking crew that does the 33rd team. And I saw this. I sent it to Nick Howard the other day. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Well, he was in Illinois.
The 33rd team. So Rick Spielman, that's his name. Rick Spielman said this about Jackson Dart. I like Jackson Dart a lot. It looks like the position comes natural to him. And he also said the Jets are looking at fucking Chris Olave. The guy's a concussion away from death.
I heard a couple Chiefs fans say to trade for him, and I told him that his physical would just not fly with the Chiefs. Same with T. Higgins.
All right, right here. The 33rd team did a draft comparison. Cam Ward reminds him of Sam Darnold, for reference. Not a bad comparison, because we're talking
this
about
year
the
Sam
physical
Darnold.
skills here.
Okay, just
Well,
physical.
we're talking
Okay,
about the
okay,
physical,
okay.
right?
I know.
Your draft players, right? Cam Ward, I mean, personality, who knows, right? A whole bunch of different things happen with these quarterbacks. It's well documented on this podcast that I'm not going to fall into the Stephen A. Smith trap where I go, Dak Prescott had 44 passing yards, 4,400 passing yards last year. That makes him the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, it doesn't make any fucking difference. The situations, they're humans at the end of the day. They're guys playing a position. They get paid a fuck ton. But they're out there, they're playing a role, and it depends on the position. But what they're comparing the physical skills, Cam Ward to Sam Darnold. That's at least how I look at this. This is the Jackson Dart comparison.
Nice. There you
Mitch
go.
Trubisky with aura is what it says.
No,
Mitch
no,
Trubisky
no,
with aura.
no, no, no.
With aura.
No, no, no.
What does that mean?
No,
Does that
no,
make
no,
That's the most
no,
accurate.
No.
That is
Yes,
the most
it's
accurate
right.
representation of Jackson Dart.
What am I supposed to do with that information?
He's Mitchell Trubisky, but it's like he's got an invisible bubble around him that makes him cooler. Just by looking at
Did
it.
you watch the Shea video again? Did I play that last Shea video's so fun. Just a little bit of oil, man. Just shake my hand a little bit. I just want a little bit of oil.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I got you. Dude, he's funny. I got a couple kids on the football squad this year that are not allowed to say aura, and they know who they are. High school sports fan. These kids outscored like 300 to 0 this season. They're talking about aura. Hey, gentlemen, let's get in the end zone. Head on a swivel out there.
Let's get the first down.
Mitch Trubisky with aura. Mitch Trubisky with aura is who the Jets are going to take. Yeah. It's not who I want them to take. It's who they're going to take.
They can't. They
Good
can't.
old Jackson Dart.
They can't.
Sticking with his last week prediction with the Jackson Dart. We got Mitch Trubisky with aura. Shout out, that's the Jets' next quarterback.
If he ends up being like a really good quarterback, though, that would be funny to go back to. But
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
I'm doing
We'll have to wait and
revisionist
see.
history before it's even fucking happened. It's what level of a fan they brought.
Kyle, are you
Anyway, back to the Mets.
No, we're not talking about the Mets. No, we're not talking about the Mets.
Juan Soto, first at bat. Could you fucking believe it?
It's not
Yes.
the MLB
Yes.
segment. It's not the MLB segment. Wait your turn. Wait your turn. Wait your turn, young man. Raise your hand before you
Why
speak.
we have
It's
it
not
later
that
to
difficult.
see if Nick can jump on the podcast to
I'm
talk
trying
about
get the guy
JJ
to get
Weatherholt.
baseball. I'm trying to get him to talk about Cardinals.
Am I going or are
Kyle-
you going?
Yeah, no, Kyle. Who do you think? I'm sticking with my offensive line pick. I haven't really seen anything else a lot different. I think that's the biggest issue that we have as a Chiefs team.
Easily.
Is our offensive line. I
Yes.
need them to pick up an offensive line.
I heard a
That'd
guy.
be a great pick.
He does real good stuff for Sports Illustrated. Matt Verdeman. He said if we sign Cam Robinson and Smith, since the cap decided to jump by like $6 million almost. Did you see that?
Does the cap? What do you mean the cap decided?
Well, since the cap jumped up higher than teams expected it to jump up to, because it's at right, what about 277 to 282? That's where their kind of their ballpark is. Leaves a lot of room open for a lot of teams, especially teams like the
Another
Eagles.
Cool thing for perspective, that's about what the NBA is too, and the NBA has to pay about a third of the players. So that's why NBA players make ridiculous fucking
Yes, yeah,
money.
because
Bradley Beal's making like $70 million or something.
I mean they have to pay like 5 guys. That's it. Maybe 6, maybe 7, but like 2 of those guys.
Pick up Mac on a league minimum.
Max made more money in the dunk competition than he's had his whole entire career playing the game. Anyways,
G League is pay to play, isn't it?
no, it depends on what contract you get. Like he has a 2-way contract, so he's getting some money. Anyways, back to what they said. I'm okay with the Chiefs going back to Smith if he takes a good deal. If he's over like a certain amount, I'm like, come on, dude. He's got some pass blocking quarrels that don't make him anything to a bad pass blocker. But like you know those graphs that put all the players everywhere. He's in the not so good area when it comes to pass blocking percentage to run blocking percentage. So what I did is I'll go back to this. I think the Chiefs should draft down. Because I don't know if there's anybody that is really good at 31. That is a difference maker. And if you can't get a difference maker at 31 and you don't have capital to draft up to get the difference maker you think you can get, I think it's easier to draft down. You got now this right here is ridiculous because the dude I drafted last week at 31, I mean they have two top 30 guys sitting here. I'm going to pick 37. Oh, geez Louise. So just not a lot of great players. Now, let's say Travis retires. I don't want to pick Colston Loveland. I don't. I don't think it's necessary.
You have Noah Gray.
We do have Noah Gray. We also have Jared Wiley, who is a very talented tight end. Now, he hasn't shown anything, but we got guys that can play the position. We don't need to go out here and try to redraft Travis Kelce. We don't need to. Colston Loveland is a good tight end. He is not a guy who can be a star. I mean, he can be a star. Anybody can be a star. He's a very, very vanilla tight end. Kind of reminds me of a Blake Bell in his, prime pass-catching days. If we want to get anybody, I know Elijah, this kid, I don't even know how you pronounce his last name. Oreo? He's not too bad, but this Harold Fannin Jr. kid is a really good player. He's not necessarily too tall. He's not incredibly fast. I mean, he is fast for a tight end, but he's nothing crazy. But the dude is a really good player. He catches the ball a lot. Does not drop the ball. I think did he have the record for most tight end reception yards in college football last year? The dude's a stud. He's a stud. But, back to this 37th pick. I don't think it's going to be a crime if we pick up Josh Connolly at all. I don't think he should be a tackle. I think he should be a guard. Man, they're showing me a lot of positions that if I see this at 37. I mean, I guess the Chiefs just might as well pick Jackson Dart, who's at 38. He won't be there. The Jets are getting him. Dude, if Amarian Hampton is sitting there at 41...
You do not want to take another high running back.
At 40... Well, not at 37. Heavens no. That's a guy you save for the third round. And you can literally pick whoever you want to. You're getting down to kids like Kyle Moganagi. Monangia. Who's a stud. They're all studs. The draft is ridiculous.
Talking about?
Huh?
Who are the Chiefs gonna pick?
I think I'm sticking with my Nick Scorton. Gotta be. The kid's just too smart. He plays the run well. He plays the pass well. He's not too explosive. Doesn't win a ton, but he does clog up the defense. I guess Nick Scorton's my guy. Or Josh Cornley. Those are my two guys I want at that middle 30th round if they're there. If they are there. Congratulations to the Chiefs for picking up another bum.
We've been pretty good in the draft, honestly. It hasn't really been that bad. Hopefully it ends up working out again. But, yeah, those are our picks for this upcoming mock draft. So let's move on to the sport that's actually going on currently right now. We'll do my quick corner 3 report. I've just got some big things. Okay, obviously the 2 top teams have not changed. Auburn had some great wins this week. And so did Duke, especially Duke in Madison Square Garden against Illinois.
Could we talk about what what record that Illinois broke that day? The largest margin of point spread for loss in Illinois Fighting Illini history.
Yeah, pretty unbelievable stuff there for Illinois. I mean, Illinois was really good in the very beginning of the year, and now they've really, really slacked off. Still not an impressive. Yeah, they have a top 5 type draft pick on their team, but obviously Duke has a few more. One guy that is obviously going number 1 overall. In Cooper Flag, they ended up beating Illinois. It was 110 to. I had the stat here just a second ago. 110 to 67. Cooper Flag had 16.7 rebounds. Yakachunas, that's the kid from Illinois, who also is going to be a high draft pick for them. Ended up having 14, 7, and 6. Duke's only has 1 loss in the ACC. I don't see him losing another game. I don't the only one that they maybe would be tripped up at would be North Carolina, but not going to happen the way North Carolina has just been not playing well. But maybe North Carolina isn't going to make the tournament, so their national championship game would be beating Duke on their home floor. So I could see that maybe being a possibility. But other than that, Duke is a solidified number 1 seed. I didn't even think if they would have somehow, and I don't think this is going to happen, going to lose, maybe they lost in the first round of the ACC tournament or whatever. Even if that were to happen, I still think they find themselves on the 1 line and an easy top contender for the national championship. Maybe from way out west, it is your squad. What are your thoughts on the Duke Blue Devils?
They're good.
Great insight from the main man from way out west there. He's always so incisive on his different descriptions of the Duke Blue Devils, and there was another classic one. Yeah, well, the Magic. The other team is the Auburn Tigers. They again extended out to being the number 1 team as of right now in the AP poll. They beat. Let me go down the stat real quick. They ended up beating Arkansas 67-60, and then actually had a really close game against Georgia, which I understand Georgia's not really a tournament team, but had a good game for Auburn overall. Still counts as a W. So Auburn's obviously going to be one of your top picks. So those 2 teams obviously stay solidified at the very top. After the Big 2, there was a little bit of a mix-up now in that 3 to 6 to 7 range now, as Mizzou ended up beating Alabama at home 110 to 88. Dennis Gates had a 0-win conference record last year. Lost every single game in the SEC. Come back, they are a top 4 solidified SEC team in probably the best conference in all of the nation this year. They did have a huge slip-up against Calipari's Arkansas team on Saturday. That's going to really hurt their seeding rank, or especially going to the AP poll. But I'm not worried about the Mizzou Tigers being a threat. Caleb Grill, when he comes in, he's just got that white boy aura about him, and he just goes in and makes threes. They've got Tatum Bates, who's really, really good. And Mark Mitchell is holding down the veteran force for those Tigers. So I'm not a Tigers guy at all, but you can only not say positive things about Dennis Gates' squad this year. Good for them. Let's talk real quickly about the Kansas Jayhawks. I know Kyle and I are pretty sick of talking about them. But it did happen in this week that in the Bill Self era, they tied the worst loss ever on Tuesday night, losing by 34 to BYU. It looked like the team gave up at about halfway through the first when they were really down, and then the ball wasn't passing around, and it got so out of hand. At halftime, you're like, okay, maybe they can come back, but it was an awful performance. Bill said it in the press conference, they need to get away from each other, which you could tell. It seems like that this team was just on this Utah-BYU road trip. It hasn't been good. Obviously, hasn't been good in the past few games for them. We'll see if they can get back on track. They had a good win against Oklahoma State, but it's Oklahoma State. They should do that, but they looked better. As a team, they looked better. They have a huge stretch coming up. They have Colorado, which shouldn't be an issue, but then they've got at Texas Tech, at Houston, and then Arizona is coming into Allen Fieldhouse to finish up the Big 12 season. Kyle, what are your current thoughts on the Kansas Jayhawks?
Their slide was clearly that they had zero confidence. They just didn't really. It almost felt like they were more afraid of getting uncomfortable than putting other teams in an uncomfortable situation, if that makes any sense. In college basketball, in sports in general, if you are a good team, normally puts other teams in very uncomfortable situations and is able to adapt to how that game is played, and they end up winning the game. KU has that talent there. I'm still not going to say they're a fantastic team. They still have tool players that it just is very odd to see in a team that's supposed to be really good. But they showed it yesterday against a bad Oklahoma State team. Their offense isn't as bad compared to their record. Their defense has been the one thing only, and that is to just fly at the ball every time, which honestly didn't really fall into the Kansas style of basketball, how they kind of work. Kansas, when they have to shoot a ton of threes, doesn't really play that well. But what they did do is that it's like they figured their roles out. I said something to Nick Howard, and I told him this is how every player should be playing the whole time. One of the things I got right was Diggy Coit needs to shoot threes, only threes and threes alone. And that's what he did. He went 5 for 9 on field goals, and 5 for 9 of them were three-pointers. That's what he needs to do. Shoot threes. That's it. I thought DeJuan played well. I told Nick that KJ Adams needs to dunk every time he has an opportunity to shoot. Dunk or get fouled. That's it. And I think the guy who I was really surprised by was Hunter Dickinson. If you go back and look at that game, Hunter Dickinson stole a ball on a fast court break and kind of did whatever. And listen, he doesn't look athletic at all, but he was playing as athletic as he can get, and it really did encourage the team itself. When Hunter Dickinson plays the game that he wants to play, which sometimes that can screw it up, but if he's able to make shots at a consistent base and keep making them, that's good. If he doesn't make shots, he needs to be a rebounder, a guy that creates space with his humongous frame, and I think that they're actually figuring that out. Instead of saying, well, if Hunter can't make any shots, what are we going to do? Then they realized, wait, we can just use other players to play the game. And they went and beat Oklahoma State by 30. And I know it's Oklahoma State, but still 30 points against a D1 team is still a lot of points. And I know KU got blown out by 30 points, but it looks better. They need to go and beat the crap out of Colorado.
They need to go 4-0 to get any type of consideration of having any type of momentum going in.
Well, if they go 4-0 and win in Houston, that would be silly. Then people would go, shit. Major, what happened alert. It was insane. But what Bill Self said, big thing, and Hunter Dickinson, even though he's a clown at some times, and I make fun of him a lot, the dude is very smart when it comes to how basketball is analyzed. I mean, he got a spot as an analyst for CBS. He's not even playing basketball next season. He's an analyst.
He's already got out analyst stuff set up for him.
But Bill Self said, guys, it's a new season. We're 1-0. Great. It's what you got to do with a team that has talent, screwed up the conference play. Hey, Now this is a new season. Our goal is to do shit in March, do stuff in the Big 12 tournament. That's our record. So good job for Bill Self for kind of getting out of that rut of whatever he was in. He was kind of losing his mind for a little bit with all this KJ, and he didn't say anything about KJ Adams in the post game. Thank goodness, because I was getting tired of it. The resort to
just giving excuses, you have to. I mean,
yeah, but the KJ Adams excuse was getting really old and tired, and it was really bothering. Other than that, yeah, KU's they got to make it to the Big 12 tournament, and so they're still a freaking long shot to even make a run to the Final Four. Other than KU, I was talking to you about this. Duke is still my number one because Cooper Flagg is just a really phenomenal basketball player, and the tools around them are really good. I said Auburn is good. I don't trust their defense. That doesn't mean their defense is bad. And I know I said that their defense was bad. What I meant to say was their defense is very, very dependent on how they play offensively. They are a one-on-one defense.
Offense is offense.
But what I was trying to say is that their defense comes from how good their offense is. If their offense goes against a really good defensive team in the tournament, their defense could just like shut down because they're one-on-one guys. They're not like a fly-around like Rick Pitino defense. Rick Pitino's team, Tom Izzo's team, and sometimes some Bill Self teams when they're really athletic on the wings, those guys make runs in the tournament because their defense is not one-on-one guys. They are very sound in their man concepts and stuff like that. Those teams go far in the tournament. Not saying Auburn can't go far in the tournament. I won't be surprised if they lose in the second round, is what I'm trying to say.
That's a pretty bold statement there by K. Stelp. He's kind of been on that same flag. We'll have to keep seeing how it ends up being. Obviously, Duke has an easier road than the Auburn Tigers just based on how crappy the ACC is. That's not Duke's fault at all. It's just ACC sucks.
But they got to smack them. They got to smack them.
Auburn's got a pretty, their last four are tough. They've got Old Miss coming into their stadium, which is not a slouch with Chris Beard and company. Then they got to go at Kentucky. Then they got to go at Texas A&M, who actually just came off 2 losses, which I'll briefly discuss here in just a minute. And their final game is Alabama coming into town for the final game of the season. So they've got 4 tough matchups left. Duke has probably one before the tournament, and then you can maybe say it's a tough matchup, but that's just because it's North Carolina-Duke rivalry. You know, one of the best wins in all college basketball. That it's going to be a wild case there anyway. So, KU up and down what to see. Let's flip a little bit. I have a little bit more on the Big 12 here. The biggest game out of that was Houston, Iowa State. Houston ended up beating Iowa State to establish themselves as the best team in the Big 12. And also Arizona's loss to BYU was really that solidified that, as Houston probably is going to go in as number 1 seed going into the Big 12 unless they have a huge meltdown here in the last 4. But Houston is another team you're going to have to really watch out for. Sharp is very, very good. Jawan Roberts is very, very good. Their defense, Kelvin Sampson, has made a Final Four run before. Does not seem that the Houston Cougars could not do that again. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. But flip to the bottom half of this SEC a little bit. Bama, after they just lost to Mizzou, bounced back and beat Kentucky. Kentucky's still a really good team, but you can tell that it's not Mark Pope's guys. He's got a lot of transfer portal guys, and it really did work. They got a really great win over Duke at the very beginning of the season because Cooper Flagg and them hadn't really established as college players yet, which is totally understandable. But a good win there. Kentucky's still good, but Bama got a nice bounce back after losing to Mizzou. And then Texas A&M, who was the number 7 team in the nation, they actually lost twice in a row. Mississippi State and Tennessee both beat them. So there's, SEC is very, very good. But again, we've talked about this, and P4's brought this point up specifically, is the SEC kind of beats themselves up. And then so now you've got Duke, who's rolling, and now you got all these big teams that have kind of lost some games here that might hurt their momentum. You've seen this in the Big 12 time or time again when we get to the big dance in March. They beat up on each other. So we'll have to wait and see. Texas A&M needs to figure it out. They should be fine in the tournament field. But Wade Taylor IV has been trying to lead that team for a while. This is their last crack at it. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on to the Big Ten here. Michigan State proved to be the best team. Tom Izzo's team. They beat the other 2 top teams in the Big Ten right in a row. They beat Purdue, and then they beat Michigan at Michigan, which is a huge win. Tom Izzo has another great, phenomenal team there for the Spartans. The crazy thing about Izzo is they don't play that running gun, 3-point shooting team that you would usually see have really successful. They have a big man. They slow it down. They do set plays, and it's through the big man to win the game for them. So Tom Izzo's team is going to be somebody that you're going to see as Kyle was saying earlier about his defensive scheming, and they're going to be a tough ass to beat out of a Big Ten here. They're looking at maybe a 2 seed, maybe a 3 seed, somewhere in that range. But Tom Izzo's team is very, very good.
I know they're not technically a dark horse, but do you think they're a legit dark horse tournament champion winners? This could be Tom Izzo's like crowning moment.
Huge run. They could make a huge run and beat some really good teams. Do I think they're national championship? No, I don't think you can win a national championship with that, but also it's Tom Izzo, a top 5 coach in the sport who's consistently made people look like clowns in March.
So close.
I know. But I don't know. This team looks really good. Big Ten's kind of goofy this year anyways. Kind of been off the radar a little bit.
It's been poop. Other than Maryland. Maryland's the only team that looks like it could scare people.
It just depends. Tom Izzo's team's good. Purdue, if they get going. Michigan's also pretty good. Wisconsin had a really bad loss against Oregon, but they're also a really solid team. They could use a guy like AJ Storr if you had a transfer. They would be probably a top 5 team in the nation. But anyways, Wisconsin's good. Good win for Michigan State. And then how about St. John's beating up on you at UConn again, going 2-0 against the 2-time NCAA champions in St. John's. So that's a really good one. Quick question for Kyle, and then I'll do my dark horse in my top 5. P4, I'd ask you, but you probably don't know because you don't know too much. You can think about it. If you want to give an answer, let us know. But if you had to put money on it, Kyle, right now, we know who the top 2 people are to win the national championship, right? Out of these teams, who are you picking to go the furthest in the tournament? I know that it's all based on matchups and everything like that, but if you had to put your money on a team out of these, who would you pick? Okay, here are my teams I've got for you. I've got your Missouri Tigers.
Whoa. Don't say my Missouri Tigers. Don't say my Missouri Tigers ever again.
The Alabama Crimson Tide, looked really strong, had a really bad loss in Mizzou, but bounced back again. Okay, the Michigan State Spartans of Tom Izzo, or would you have St. John's and Rick Pitino? Out of those 4 teams, who would you put your money on to make it the furthest in the tournament? Granted, obviously, matchups, but out of those 4 teams, who would you pick? Give me your answer, and then I'll give you my answer out of those 4.
I think, they're all fantastic. Missouri is fantastic in their own special way. I'm going to put Missouri out first because the style they play, if they're not at home and they don't get the fouls calls they wanted, they're toast because they average the most free throw attempts in the nation. They will not get that in the tournament. It's just not going to happen. Especially the style of basketball that is called in those tournaments, they won't get those calls. So they do have a shot, but if they play a good defensive team that doesn't foul a lot, it's over. Of course, that can, shoot, make shots, but I'm going to put Missouri out. I'm going to have Alabama out too, just because Nate Oates is kind of a crazy person now that we come to consider. I guess it's Rick Pitino versus Tom Izzo, and I think even though Rick Pitino, his team is what it, normally is when he is coaching at that high level, I just don't think they have the offense or the free throw ability to get there. They get fouled a lot. They miss a lot of free throws. So I think it's got to be Tom Izzo. I just know Tom Izzo goes far. I think his team actually has it's not the run and gun like they used to have that wins those tournament games, but it is something that can be NCAA the title game worthy. Just that big guy down there that can play that position is so helpful. And having the pieces around it, this is a Tom Izzo team I think could not only just make it to the Final Four, they can make it to the national title game. Truthfully, this team is better than people think they are. I know Duke is really good. I know Alabama's good, and SEC is coming through the marks, and Houston plays good defense. This is a Tom Izzo team that just nobody's really prepared for. Especially when I watched KU play them, you could see, hold on, if this team, just kind of gets it, it's going to be bad for the whole crowd. So I'm going to go Tom Izzo easily. Not easily, but, pretty confidently.
Yeah, Izzo's always a great pick. P4, do you have an answer? I know you don't know too much research on it, or if you don't, no worries. I just want to keep you involved in the conversation.
Yeah, maybe not those SEC schools because of the reasons that you already laid out. But I just kind of noticed, maybe not necessarily the SEC, and this isn't anti-SEC bias. It's just, I mean, when you get a whole bunch of good schools like that, they end up beating each other. They're going to be more banged up than fucking St. John's.
That's what Big 12's gone through the
Nobody. I
whole
kind of
time.
like what Kyle was saying, where he's sticking to more the coaches and less the talent. After your top 5 and your dark horse, I do have a question for you afterwards. So,
Okay.
Yeah, out of those teams, I think that's reasonable. Coach.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the only reason I have this because they're my national championship prediction at the very beginning of the year. I still have confidence that if this team plays to their best abilities, they could win the whole thing. And I'm gonna take the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think their defense is more solid than Auburn's that you talk about. It just depends on what defensive scheme you get.
Yeah,
you can either get them stopping teams for 65 points, or you could have a team like Mizzou put 110 on them. It's who's gonna lock down on the defensive end.
They have trouble playing defense at away games. So when you put them in that neutral site, Alabama does have a really good, and like you said, they do have a shot if their defense can figure it out. Because Nate Oates has been the problem we have with Nate Oates is his defense is wishy-washy,
Right.
and he tries to do this football analysis like points per possession bullcrap, and it's really weird what he's doing with this coaching idea. It's less about the formality of the game of basketball,
Right.
and now we're
Situational.
implementing stats. Like, if
Yeah.
we play this
Let's
way,
just shoot as much. Yeah.
it's really weird. It's a style of basketball that is going to be showing up here soon, and I think a lot of people, especially like me, are going to go, whoa, I didn't even know that you could even think about this in basketball. NBA teams are already doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, the NBA, you can tell there's that transition, and that's how Nate Oates kind of coaches. So that's my pick there. But let's go quickly. For the next few weeks, I'm going to do a dark horse for the tournament. Somebody that I could see making the top or the Final Four if they got a good draw, not one of your top 10 teams. And the one team that has really impressed me this last week and a half or so has been, Kyle mentioned them earlier, the Maryland Terrapins. They are honestly a phenomenal team on a huge win streak. They've won 8 of their last 9 with huge wins. Derek Queen is I know Cooper Flagg is the freshman to watch, but if you want to watch a really good big man, like just be a big man, Derek Queen from of Maryland is that big man of the year for the whole national, art of everything of it. Derek Queen is 16-9-2 on the season. Jacoby Gillespie, who's the counterpart, the guard with him, is averaging 15-2-4, but he's shooting 42% from 3. Like I said, they're winners of their 8 of their last 9. They had a big game this week against Michigan State that'll really prove they're going to be that dark horse that I've been saying. In KenPom, they are 15th. They're 20th in defensive metrics and 17th in the offensive metrics. So really solid play, both sides of the ball. They're not one side or the other. And they've really been proving teams wrong here in the Big Ten. Again, that Michigan State game is going to be the huge factor in that dark horse. But my dark horse this week is going to be the Maryland Terrapins. And then finally, my top 5. I've still got Auburn on top. I got Duke, Houston, Florida, and Tennessee at number 5. Alabama falls out after the Mizzou lost. Man for Way Out West, what question do you have?
How many teams can you realistically see winning the national championship this year?
That's a phenomenal question. Off the bat, here.
Thank you. That's the end
Right
of the
off-
podcast.
Most improved
We'll
2021.
see you guys next time. Let's go. I could go kind of through. Obviously, the Duke Blue Devils and the Auburn Tigers, I could see winning. I could actually see if Alabama gets everything to click the way that they were at the middle of the year, and they play like that. I see Alabama being 100%. The Florida Gators are one of those teams too, where if they
3 SEC schools.
I know, but that's like I know, but I feel like those are the top schools. That's the top league, and like I'm telling you, Florida, the way they played against Kentucky early on in this year, and consistently how they've been able to shoot the ball. Walter Clayton Jr. is one of the best guards, if not the best guard in the nation this year, and they are phenomenal to watch. And then I'm gonna take. I think my last one. So I have 3 SEC schools. I think I'm going to take I have 2 here. So I have Auburn, Florida, Duke, and then I'm going to take Alabama because that's who I think. And then my final one, I think there's 5 legitimate. Actually, let's go 6. We'll throw Houston in there just because of their defense reliability and Kelvin Sampson. Yes, dude, they've beaten everybody in the Big 12. They haven't had to prove anything. They've had solid wins all year.
Did last
and
year.
with Kelvin Sampson being really good this year again, I think they're going to make a huge run. And my final one, and this is, like, again, dark horse, like, I think at the very edge of the list, if Rick Pitino could get his team to play well the entire tournament, and we see some crazy upsets like we have seen in March. You've seen that before where you've seen these top teams that everybody's like, oh, they're going to win the whole thing, get upset by somebody else. And then you have a random national champion, okay? I could see St. John's solidifying the fire within and being that UConn Huskies team, that 4 seed that just smokes everybody because Pitino is a top 3, top 2 coach in the entire sport at the moment. Top 2, 3, 4, 5 coaching all time, Rick Pitino. And I think he's going to move his guys in that direction. So I'll give you those 5, my final 5. Duke, Auburn, Florida, Alabama, 6, Houston, and then St. John's. I have 6 legitimate. We'll see how these next 4 games go. It's going to really tell us a lot about Auburn. It won't tell us much about Duke, which is annoying. Florida has some good games left. Alabama has some good games left. St. John's, we'll have to see how they do in the Big East. And then Houston has some few games left as well. But those 6, I feel like, are legit national championship contenders.
Did you say Rick Pitino is a top 5 head coach of all time in college basketball?
Yeah.
What?
Name them.
Yep. All right, name
Okay,
them.
Wooden, Phil Knight, Coach K.
Phil Knight, the founder of Nike.
Not Phil Knight.
Bobby Knight.
Bobby Knight, not Phil
Is that his
Knight.
name?
Yeah, Bob Knight.
Hoosiers?
Yeah.
Who else? Like, you said those 3 names are ahead of him. I would agree with you. But
okay.
You can make an argument
Bill
with...
Self, Izzo?
No,
I think Bill Self kind of gets that 4th one just because of bro. Hold on, bro.
He's got 3 national championships though, so I guess.
Bill,
Or he's got 2. Sorry,
Bill's have 2, but
my bad, 2.
But Bill also his regular
Bill
seat.
had more years in the NBA than those guys.
Yeah. Well, he took Kentucky to promise, he took Louisville to promise land. He's taken not to win at Louisville.
What
but
about
still
Roy
was
Williams?
A phenomenal team.
Is Roy Williams up there?
Yeah, he's probably up there. You can make a contest for a
John Shire!
I don't know.
No, I don't think Shire's quite got there yet.
Rick Pitino. If Rick Pitino's got to win it, he's got to win one more for me to go. Okay.
There's an argument in there.
Yeah.
But
hey,
those 6.
Hold on, I got a great question from Up a Cloud. What about Tennessee? They're a defensive machine. They're the best defensive team in the nation.
Here's the issue with Tennessee.
What's the issue?
Tennessee is good at the defensive end, but if Chaz Lanier does not score 25 points, they are not any good. They aren't going to be a good team. They're not going to beat a Duke unless he goes off for 35 points. Let's be realistic.
Adolph Rupp was also a racist. Up a Cloud. He was a racist.
Yeah, Rupp was.
Have you ever seen that movie? When the Glory Road? Watch Glory Road. You'll never like Adolph Rupp again. Also, came from KU.
Tennessee is great. I don't like the relying just on Chaz Lanier. I think Chaz Lanier is going to be a great NBA player. He's going to be a shooter just like Dalton Knecht was for Tennessee last year. But if he's had nights where he's shown that he cannot shoot the ball. Like Barnes put him on the bench because he wasn't shooting enough and wasn't making enough shots.
I'll tell you this.
If he doesn't make 25 points, they're not winning.
I'll tell you this right now. If there is a legit dark horse team, like complete Cinderella, not like Cinderella mid-major team that can, you do have to have offense. You have to have offense up a cloud. You have to in the NCAA tournament. A team that is really surprising. I don't know if they're actually going to make the tournament. I haven't looked at their schedule or the record. Villanova. I know they have a lot of corals. But Villanova could.
I don't know if they'll make the tournament. They're 6 in the Big East.
I know
if the Big East is
but they've been
consistent.
playing so well. Racist or not, 4 is still better than 3. Oh, jeez. I don't know if that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think that's a great question. Let's rediscuss that question maybe next week. And we're getting
Someone
towards.
told me that they were up a cloud, and I forget who it is.
Don't say it on the chat,
Yeah,
please.
no.
All right, let's get to the biggest part of the show. Let's go to UFC with main man from way out west, who actually got to see in person this week. P4, main man from way out west, talk to us about this great UFC Seattle bout.
Yeah, great card. Dana in his post press conference, obviously Seattle broke the gate as every UFC event does. Every time. Next time there's a UFC event, doesn't matter if it's even the Apex next week. Watch the post-fight press conference on MMA Junkie or whatever, and Dana always says, well, we broke the North American gate, and this is the highest gate in Climate Pledge history. We sold out. We're quadruple sold out. And we're the best. So it is very funny to watch Dana. Let's throw this up. So obviously UFC Seattle, lots of knockouts. Crazy knockouts. Entire screen 2, share, boom. So Moradeus, Bukowskis, he ended up getting the first round KO over Rafael Siqueira. Absolutely incredible fight. 2 incredibly just athletic gentlemen. It is pretty cool. Worst card ever. No, it was a real cool card. I was able to go to the weigh-ins as well. That was a cool opportunity for me. It was free to the public, the weigh-ins. Guys talked. It's kind of cool seeing, because you watch it on TV, obviously, but it's the same TV you see Superman on. So you're like, okay, cool, whatever. These guys are big. When you see those motherfuckers like walk up to the scale and stuff, and they start flexing, they take their whatever, and they're out there and they're next to Dana and they're next to other human people that don't necessarily train. You're like, holy shit, they are on a different fucking planet than we are. They'd fuck us up. They'd squish our heads like grapes. They should probably be chained up like at the end of 300 when like the Persians had like all those final bosses. Like that's the level we're talking about here. These motherfuckers are insane. So this light heavyweight, I remember seeing Rafael Siqueira and being like, holy shit, there's no way that there's a human being bigger than that. He was fucking insane. Just fucking ripped. And then you got people booing him, and I'm looking over at some fucking fat guy with a Coors Banquet in his hand. Like, okay. Life is even. It's very fun. Let's show off the highlights real quick. This is on Twitter, so it's got to be fair use, right?
It is. Oh, silly.
Up against the cage, boom, was able to smoke him. Smoked him. Vanderhoff. Abdul Malik, oh, he beat Philly. And Costa, oh my god, that was a good fight. Costa dressed up as a Dalmatian. Ricky Simone, the crowd went absolutely fucking insane for Ricky Simone. We'll talk more about
Oh, look at his eyes!
Him. He's dead. And then they showed him in the on the big screen, and he's like laying there, and he goes, "What happened? What happened?" Silva said, "Are you sure?"
Ow!
Silva here. Look at this.
Ow!
Finishing strikes with body shots and not headshots.
Oh, that
A
looks like.
1,000 IQ.
Why does
play
that
by
look
the
like
MMA
Andrew
nerd.
Tate from like a
It
side
would
pro?
suck. Could you imagine me doing fucking hammer elbows on your ribs? Oh shit!
No,
But
not
absolutely
from
incredible.
the Berg.
That's- Vanderford, famously married to Paige Van Zant. I breathe the same air as Paige Van Zant. We talked about that in the open. I breathe the same air as Paige Van Zant. I'll say it again. Tracy Cortez, any dudes in sports from the Berg? Yeah, we got a couple boys from the Berg.
From the Berg? Like grew up in the Berg?
That's fucking, yeah, that's funny as shit. Yeah. So, yeah.
Is that the kid that moved there? The kid that you told me about him? Yeah. I mean, we're all from
One of the
Central
best
Mo.
shortstops in Vashon slow pitch softball.
Really?
He backs me up when I'm on the mound. You know, I got the night. I'm two-time pitcher. A couple different teams now. But I pitch for my fraternity league and I pitch for my men's adult league. You want to talk more about that, or you want to talk about the UFC?
No, please go
I could either
UFC.
way.
Please go UFC.
UFC.
All right, Nazarsan Rubelov versus Eric Moncano, or Monconcino. Every time there was a USA fighter or a fighter from the States, the whole crowd would start chanting USA, which is kind of cool. Seattle, we do have some Patriots here. And they were at the UFC.
Wait, really? I didn't understand
Imagine that. If there was any Patriots in the Pacific Northwest, they were at the UFC event. I think a couple guys maybe flew in from
They
Portland,
were
or
probably from Spokane.
maybe from the Cascades, the east side of the mountains. They get a little red out there, Pullman area.
I got a couple guns.
Spokane. Yeah, Yakima. Shout out iCarly. The Yakima sounds like you threw up. Yakima, that's what I remember as a little kid. iCarly's in Seattle? No fucking way. I'm over here. Nasruddin Rubaev, good fight. He ended up getting the win. That was one of the highlights. Just absolutely smoked this kid. Early second round. First round was pretty. We knew which way the fight was going. That was the other thing. Couple soda pops on Saturday. Austin Vanderfort got the win. Round 2, got the KO. His wife is beautiful. She will be on Power Slap. Watch her. Ricky Simone, local kid. He got the win. Ricky Simone, I think he was like an 18-1 prospect, trained with MMA Labs down in Arizona with Sugar Shane. And
Sugar Shane.
Sugar Sean and O'Malley. And he ended up getting into a beef or something with Mario Bautista, or maybe not a beef, maybe I'm speaking out of school there. But yeah, they ended up fighting each other. Mario Bautista got the better of Ricky Simone. Ricky Simone's kind of had a fall off since then. So we were joking that if he didn't win this, or even if he did win this, he was going to get cut. They gave him his I'm Coming Home. That was the song he came out to. Some really weird walkout songs. Production value for UFC. Incredible. Well done by the UFC. Production value, the way that the lighting, it was almost like a whole light show. It was like a concert level. It was very incredible.
That's cool,
I was
yeah.
honored to be there. Yeah, it was real cool. I know UFC's coming to Kansas City soon, so I hope...
Yeah, they're definitely going to go out to that in April. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. I'm glad to see have some other guys. Because it is cool to see the events, and obviously some of the events...
Are tickets available?
I mean, tickets are...
Tickets are not, they're not available yet.
No,
I looked on
It's
T-Mobile.
real late. They only give you like about a month or something. The only reason I got tickets, shout out 300-pound gentleman. I got a boy who's got season tickets to the Kraken, so he had early access to Climate Pledge Arena. That's one thing. It's probably not going to be UFC tickets. Look at your arena. I think you.
Yeah, it'll be on T-Mobile. I looked yesterday or 2 days ago, and they're not quite up yet. They are going to be kind of pricey here, but I mean, it seems like a kind of experience thing that I would thoroughly enjoy.
Oh yeah, UFC anything is just
Kyle,
exciting.
could you maybe throw up the?
Yeah, I got you.
I'll stop streaming. Could you throw up the one of those pictures maybe, or just the?
Oh yeah, I got you. Which one do you want?
You call the fucking thing we're talking about. Any of, I mean, maybe not the one of me. It's not the best view of the stadium.
Here I got a couple. I got three. I got three right here. Right here.
Yeah, so here we go. This is the same. This was the view from our seat. We were section 118. It's kind of cool. Climate Pledge, cool arena. The story behind that. I mean, we can get into that whenever. But Dog's the GOAT pitcher for show. Yeah, so we saw this collect rewards. Fucking Bill Gates got his nose in all this shit. So Climate Pledge
shocker.
is like yeah, imagine that. Is like a totally like carbon zero arena where like even the ice is like collected from rainwater and shit like that. Like it's just a zero carbon arena something. Even though I was throwing my Modelo cans, I had those lined up. I had those lined up in front of me. So if you look at this, these two big jumbotrons are immediately over like the two crowds, and we were joking about how the shrapnel would probably kill us too, but they'd take out that whole section right there. And all of that is screened, even though they only show like the 1080p kind of standard definition, high definition box. That whole screen, so it's kind of like a triangle shaped screen, which is kind of cool. I mean, I've been to a Kraken game too. Incredible arena. Thank you for Climate Pledge for hosting. And Dana White did say we're not going to have to wait 10 years to see Seattle again. So 9 years. I'll set my clock. Live at Pledge Arena. The Octagon was cool. Obviously, you had the little thing, like the thing that the UFC's famous for, the little fucking X out kind of. It's not a jumbotron lighting structure with the kind of scaffolding type material.
Yeah, this thing right here.
Yeah, it's so cool, and that's like what you see, right? MGM Grand Casino. You think about Conor, you think about Anderson Silva, you think about any of those guys. It's kind of the famous UFC structure. So that was cool seeing that. And then during the weigh-ins too. Weigh-ins were kind of marked off, like if you were to bring a curtain to where that first section is. So we got the one jumbotron, and then about, what do you call it, 33% of the arena.
Right here.
And then that's about, yep. And then that's where they put the curtain up, and then right in front of that's where the stage was for the weigh-ins. And then I was sitting at like kind of the corner of the picture where kind of that bright spot is. Yeah, kind of up in
Right
that
there.
area. They had sections. The sections right below us were the sections that they had open for the weigh-in. So it was kind of cool. Was able to get a couple sodas there too. A lot of soda talk on this pod. Pepsi. No free advertisement. Sue Bird was up. Her jersey's retired. She's up there. Yep, number 10. Let's go back to the card. Let's power through this. Yeah,
Pretty good
show the
looking.
next one. Show the next one just for shits and gigs.
There you go.
Yeah, your boy's at the stadium. So many compliments on my shirt. Shout out my sister. She got me this shirt for Christmas a couple years ago. Hasbula School of Business, cash up front. There was a Russian lady who was working the booth. I don't think she knew what UFC was. She was the one who sold me all my sodas. And she goes, cash up front, right? And I go, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So that was fun. Cool experience. All that. Kyle talked forever about some bullshit, so whatever. Ricky Simone, good win by him. Absolutely smoked the guy. Just absolute fucking power punch. Then let's go on. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Nick Klein. Mansour ended up getting the win, I believe. Yes, he did. He was from the United States as well. Nick Klein with the mullet. Mullet did not bring the power. He looks very similar to Austin Vanderfort. We called Nick Klein Conor McGregor a couple times. You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing. Andre Feely, another local kid. He, what song did he walk out to? I don't know if he, I think he walked out to a Nirvana song. They played a lot of Nirvana at the,
No Modest Mouse?
Yes, that's right.
No Modest Mouse?
No Modest Mouse. Good point, K-Stel. You know, it's the winter time. I don't listen to a lot of Modest Mouse in the winter time.
No, never. You can't listen to
shoot
Modest
myself
Mouse in the
head.
winter.
Oh my god. That's a special kind of person there. But
Yeah, I listen to
maybe
Modest
Kurt
Mouse in the
Cobain.
winter. Oh, so you're like that.
Yeah. But Andre Feely, he came out to a Nirvana song. Like I mentioned, Homecoming by Kanye West. I met this girl when I was 3 years old, and what I love most, she had so much soul. Said, excuse me, little homie, I know you don't know me, but I like to blow trees, and my name is Wendy, and Kanye West. Anything else on Kanye? Either of you guys want to weigh
Nope.
on Kanye West, or is that
Adam Sandler fixed him. Adam Sandler fixed him.
Thanks, Adam Sandler. Grown Ups 3 was a great movie. Great film. Shaq was a cop, and
I think that's Grown Ups
Steve
2.
Buscemi was Flava Flav.
Pretty sure it's the second one. I don't think they have a third one.
God, what happened to...
They should.
Yeah, what happened to the smart guy's girls in that? Like, the two girls were hot, but the other one was... That one, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Schneider.
Rob Schneider's deal. I love Rob. Gotta love Rob.
He's gone fucking MAGA. Holy shit.
Oh,
what happened
yeah.
to that guy? His
He
last comedy special was on Fox News or something.
yeah,
Daily
it
Wire.
Fox Nations or something like that. He was like right around that Tim Allen and something, and then all of a sudden he was like, what if I just,
Don't
what?
ask famous people stuff about they're not famous for. I'm not going to go up to a UFC fighter and say, hey man, what's your opinion on the tariffs?
About Bryce.
No.
About Bryce. You can ask Bryce some questions.
no. Bryce has signed a
That's right, Mitchell.
Hey, let them be their own guys. They're not famous, right? R.
Yeah, but-
Kelly. Bryce Mitchell, Gene Silva. We could talk about Gene Silva too. He had an absolute
Pro Adolf
incredible
Hitler. That is crazy.
yeah, but Bryce Mitchell.
I go fishing with him.
karate-
I go fishing with him.
before it all happened. Karate Combat. He signed. He is signed to fight this guy.
Barzili?
Who is a who?
Barzili? That's what I call Nick Aragon in Warrensburg on Thursdays. Barzili.
Well, you know what this flag is behind him?
Is that
Israel, Palestine, Israel.
Don't
flag.
say the second one.
Israeli flag.
So he's okay. So he's from Israel.
Yep. So you've got the Israel versus.
Oh, so we got
there's
some
beef.
underground. Never
The
know.
tunnels. This is gonna be held in the tunnels.
No, not the tunnels. Not the tunnels.
Costa, cool tattoo. He dressed up as a Dalmatian. He had Dalmatian face paint. And
Did he come out to Cruella Deville? Cruella Deville.
No, you know what he came out to? He came out.
Oh, congratulations to him for coming out.
Chickapee
Chickapee?
song.
Is this it? I don't know if I.
No, this can't be it. Now chickapee.
you
It's
think
like fucking
you-
crazy fucking song, man. It was crazy. It was going through the arena. I thought I was having a stroke.
Chat. Can we look up Chickapee?
Chickapee. Ion Kubeda, he ended up getting the strikeout, the fucking knockout in the first
See ya.
round.
You're going.
Great fight by him. Moldova versus Turkey. We went 6 for 6 to start the night on KOs. Then Alonzo Minefield, Julius Walker, fight of the night. Alonzo Minefield split decision win. I don't know. I think Julius Walker might have had it. Very interesting fight, but that was the other thing we were talking about. While you're watching the fight in person, in your eyes, you do think about the fight as a 15-minute continuation with 2 breaks in the middle. You do not think about it as, who won that round? Okay, now who won that round? Okay, now who won the 3rd round? So I don't know. That's maybe something we look into in the future. Maybe there's a different division that pops up, right? You get an indie ball that tries a pitch clock thing, and then the MLB kind of adopts it. So maybe someone tries a different thing. Obviously, way back in the day, there was no weight limits or time limits or anything like that. So, I don't know. Maybe there is a new system that we can use. Shout out the Washington DOL was who sanctioned this fight. I thought there was like maybe a Washington State Athletic Commission. Apparently there is not, or at least they're not the ones who sanctioned this. It was the Washington Department of Licensing, which is very funny because that's the office I go into to get my fucking real ID. So, that's funny. Gene Silva with the victory. Absolute incredible showing by him. The Fighting Nerds once again. He was a heavy favorite, minus 470 to plus 360 for Bagarassian. Bagarassian, I mean, not much you can say, right? I mean, fuck, sorry, dude. These Fighting Nerds are incredible. He called out Bryce Mitchell, but honestly, Bryce Mitchell 3 years ago when Bryce was hot, but he's hot. He has nothing to gain from that fight, unless it's just like he wants to fight everyone, be a little Kevin Holland, and also be good. Well, yeah, I don't want to say that because Kevin Holland's a very good fighter, but that's my problem, is that you either fight to get victories, you fight to fight, or whatever. But if you're one of those guys who fight to fight, like Nate Diaz, Kevin Holland, some of my favorite fighters, because I think they're underappreciated because of that fact that they love fighting so much, is that they end up losing more because they're fighting more. When you look at a guy like Izzy, who only fights matches he knows he can win. I mean, Uncle Chael talks about this a lot, but it's whoever you want to fight, the easiest fight for the most amount of money for the biggest legacy, right? It's like a whole, because you're in charge of your schedule. It's not like a preset schedule like in most sports that we talk about. So if Gene does want to just fight to fight to fight, I love it. I love it. I'm all for it. Carlin Barral, more of those Fighting Nerds. But I think that if he did take kind of this Bo Nickel, I'm going to pick my next opponent, Israel Adesanya, I'm going to work my way up the rankings and then just beat the next guy until I'm the champ, and then I'll fight twice a year or whatever, then that's another thing. But if he wants to fight, I'll love him even more. Congrats to the Fighting Nerds. Incredible team there. And Dana had his thoughts on that in the post-fight, too, if you're interested, look that up. Rob Font versus Gene Matsumoto. Gene Matsumoto, 16-0 heading into this fight, making his UFC debut in the not in the main event, but on the main card. Rob Font ended up getting a split decision victory. It was a catchweight bout at 140. I think they weighed in at 139 and 138, respectively. Gene Matsumoto took the fight on 1 week's notice, and Rob Font, who's a top 10 bantamweight contender, Sean O'Malley's division, Merab Dvalishvili's division, Umar Nurmagomedov's division. We'll look at the rankings in a second. Rankings don't come out till Tuesday. But Rob Font looked good, but Gene looked great.
MLF football. MLF football just shouted out Zach Zabrowski.
What?
MLF football, Zach Zabrowski. Sorry, I did not mean to just interrupt.
Who's Zach Zabrowski?
Bro, Central Missouri quarterback.
Oh my god. Where's Zach Davidson? Buffalo just snowed in. It's like, what the fuck? Didn't even get a fucking Super Bowl ring. He'll probably be on the Chiefs practice squad next year, especially after Travis retires. And Matt Araiza rapes another girl.
Whoa! That was, first of all, not true. Forever.
Caught a wave there. I'm sorry. That's all alleged.
That will be cut out in the post edit.
Haven't done a post edit. We had fucking for 3 straight weeks, 2024, last show of 2024, as our title of our podcast. I'm wondering how long the P4's UFC Live Summary is going to be our title. But Rob Font got the win. Gene Matsumoto, incredible showing by him. Excited to see 2025, not the year of the undefeated. A lot of fighters lose their zero. Fluffy Anthony Hernandez may be the biggest crowd favorite, which is weird because they talked to him after the fight, and he doesn't have any connection to the Pacific Northwest. We do have a big Hispanic culture in the Pacific Northwest. I am an ally to a few Mexicans.
Jeez.
Oh, jeez. But Anthony Hernandez, he got the win. Fluffy Hernandez, incredible showing by him. Brendan Allen looked good. Arnold Allen as well is another guy with the last name Allen. But Anthony Hernandez, good fight by him. He looked very good. Close fight for the most part, but Anthony did show up with the win. Then the main card, which, I mean, it did...
Cejudo.
UFC Seattle, Cejudo's the main fight. There's no more Dom Cruz. You're like, what are we doing here? Song Yadong's good fighter. Song looked good the whole time. No matter what else happened, Song looked good. I don't really understand how after 3 rounds the fight became official or something like that. I don't know. Some weird shit happened where they ended up going to the cards in a main event prior to the 5th round. I don't know. Do you guys have anything on this fight? It was kind of
the only thing that I saw that was the eye poke thing and the whole stadium booing the hell out of Cejudo.
There
I'm
was
sure
a lot of boo birds. I loved it.
It's pretty cool to see. I mean, I don't know. It's hard because there were so many cancellations and like it's just the scheme of the whole card made it kind of interesting. I mean, Cejudo. I feel like even with this loss, it just solidifies Yadong more than Cejudo, like, hurts him. I feel like it just brings Yadong up a little bit more. It was a good fight.
Fight O'Malley.
Yeah, I mean, he'll still fight somebody he's still in that contention. That one loss is not going to kill him from that type of, is he going to be that top contender maybe eventually to, again, go for the belt. But, it was an interesting fight. Yadong looked awesome, though. Like, I mean, he just looked like the better fighter that day. And, Cejudo definitely milked the clock a little bit with that eye poke. But, I mean, what are you supposed to do? The guy got poked in the eye. Like, you never know.
I had no issue with that. I thought it was a fun opportunity to boo. But
100%.
Yeah. What are you going to do? The guy gets 5 minutes. Give him his 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. You never know with an eye poke. I mean, it is what it is. But, yeah, it's a great card in Seattle. We had a good time watching that. Shout out P4 for all his pictures and all his talk in the group chat. It was pretty great. Let's you wanna move on now? You got a little bit more for UFC or
I mean, that does it for UFC. We do have an Apex card next week. rankings. Doesn't really affect bantamweight. Cejudo's at 7. Song Yadong was at 8. So Song Yadong's probably up here. Cheeto Vera, Davidson Figueiredo, Corey Sandhagen, Sean O'Malley. We'll see what happens with this double champ thing. Apparently, double champ is a
Doesn't happen anymore.
Doesn't happen anymore. So we'll look into that. Dana did go against that. Someone asked Dana a question. It was funny because Dana said, "I don't know," and it was like, "Wait, you're the one who knows. You make the rules.
You're the ones that are making everything work. You're the president. You can do whatever you want with the sport." But Cape should be a good fight.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yep, we can go move on to this. I'm sure they're already hit. They're excited. We can watch this at bat. Go ahead. Spring training ball. Let's watch Juan Soto's.
Shuffle, man.
Soto Omoji. Jiminy Christmas. Inside.
Shuffle. Look at
2-0 count. Dangerous count.
God, he's so fucking good at baseball.
Gets it right
Oh,
by him.
what a hack. Fuck.
Tells them, good pitch, throw it again. I dare you to throw it again.
Nick Madrigal
I dare you to throw that pitch again.
Look at his
That's all he's
belt,
asking.
like the Soto shuffle.
Bang.
Uh-oh. Something Nicky Pasquantino knows nothing about. Vinny Pasquantino. Going opposite field.
Good home run by Juan. Looks like the Mets are doing pretty well. P4, what's your stance currently on this first start? Obviously, Juan Soto has arrived for the New York Mets.
Kyle, is it too early to say 162-0?
No, not yet.
Let's go Mets. It's all about the Mets. Mets been playing good. Royals won. Lost today.
No, they lost
lose to
today.
the White Sox.
No, they
The
won.
White Sox,
They won. They won.
Oh, did they come back? I saw they were down 3-1.
They did. Yeah. So, the Royals normally do this thing where their starters don't really do anything at the beginning of spring training. They're kind of really focused on their getting their swing back into check, stuff like that. But the prospects, on the other hand, whoa. Carter Jensen, local kid, catcher, probably may not be the catcher forever, but the kid can hit the ball. His hands are really fast through the zone. But other than his home run today, let's talk about the number 8th or 6th overall pick in the draft. Number 6th overall pick in the draft, Jack Caglione. He hit a ball 115 miles per hour to deep center for a home run. So good stuff to see out of the kid who is
Jack's going to be one of that guy. He's a beast.
Listen, and a lot of Royals fans were really high on J.J. Weatherholt, and I will not ever disagree with that take ever. J.J. Weatherholt is a stud. He hit a home run today for the Cardinals. Nick Howard should be pretty impressed. J.J. Weatherholt's a stud. Can he stay healthy? We don't know. But he's a really good ball player. But
Tidwell starts the game for the Mets tomorrow against the Cardinals.
Tidwell is crazy. But listen, the Royals had an opportunity to draft the biggest, tallest guy. You know, you look at the guy and go, hey, the dude hits home runs about 500 feet. And you're like, yeah, why would I not take him? He's a lefty. If there's any guy who can hit like 50 home runs in Kauffman Stadium at like an elite level, it's Jack Caglione. If the dude puts the bat on the ball, it's coming off the bat more than 100 miles per hour. So it's a good... I mean, listen, is he going to be crazy defensively? Probably not, unless he pitches. But who cares? The dude hits the ball far. That's a pretty good freaking look in your... You don't really need the analytics to go there. If the dude hits the ball hard and he hits it out of the ballpark, I'd pick him. So the dude's really good. Everyone's talking about his chase rate. Bleh. Chase rate doesn't mean swing and miss rate. Chase rate is literally every single ball you swing outside of the strike zone. You know who has a really high chase rate? 10.4 WAR Bobby Witt Jr. has a high chase rate. Guys who they're good players with high chase rates. It just seems like everyone is trying to be this Juan Soto model, and nobody can really be that unless your name is Juan Soto. Juan Soto swings at pitches that are in the strike zone, and now with the new ABS system, that probably won't come up this year, but maybe next year, Juan Soto is going to be one of the best freaking batters on the planet, just because he just swings at pitches in the strike zone. And kids that are trying to do this thing nowadays, it just isn't going to work. Sometimes you just need kids that have a huge bat in their hand, and when they put the bat on the ball, it goes really far. So congratulations to Jack Caglione. I really hope he's good. I really do, because he is a freaking monster. I mean, everyone in the Royals clubhouse goes, dude, this guy is big. He's literally built like a D end playing baseball. And when he hits the ball, it sounds like a cannon. So hopefully, I can maybe speak for the Cardinals a little bit. J.J. Weatherholt's a good ball player. Really good pick. If he stays healthy, cross your fingers, Cardinals fans. He could possibly be a really good third baseman, second baseman, but you're only here for the dudes hitting. Hitting is the name of the game. If he could be an above average defensive player, that's all you want. That's all you want. Rafael Devers is a weird mold that you get. We'll see what Juan Soto looks like in right field. Do you think, P4, do you think Juan Soto is going to play a bit more DH this year just because of the depth you have in your outfield? Or do you want to...
I do think an outfielder will be the DH.
Yeah, like Sterling Marte.
Whether it's Marte, Winker,
McNeil maybe even gets that
I don't
deep.
know how...
But he's a guy who puts the bat on the
McNeil's
ball.
Playing, he's going to be playing the field. If McNeil's playing, he's playing.
I like your manager. I think he wants to implement that switching around.
One of my favorite tweets of the year was the very first spring training game. The Mets released their lineup. And the guy on the New York Mets, the what do you call that? Community.
Yes.
Said, what is Mendoza thinking?
This guy is insane. But to go out of the realm of our group of sports, how about the Yankees? The Yankees have had a couple of things go on. The Beards now.
I didn't know we were a Yankees podcast.
No, I'm not here. I'm not here to prop up the Yankees. This is a screw the Yankees segment. Yankees, no more beards. Whoa. They're done playing the New York song after every game. They're going to go to like That's Life or something like that from Frank Sinatra. What a bunch of clowns. And how about Jason Dominguez? You lose Juan Soto, you go, we're getting Jason Dominguez. Jason Dominguez is one of the worst defensive outfielders I've ever seen play baseball. Did you see the clip? You saw the clips before. You see it? Oh, where'd it go? And he drops it. Did it twice in one game. Oh, man, it's lovely. Hey.
Right in with that outfield.
Oh,
Judge.
yeah. Look, that's an outfield with Judge. And Judge, you know, he could... Listen, Yankees fans are really good at making Judge look like he's a great defender. I saw that game, that World Series game. He dropped that fly ball, bro. What are you talking about? And Cody Bellinger is sitting out there like, oh, shit, I got to do it all now. And he can't even do it all because he gets injured all the time. Can't even throw.
Seinfeld for one episode and have it just be a George Costanza
Yeah.
like letting players know if they're...
Well, you're certainly not going to bring Kramer's character back. It's just a George Costanza, like...
Because Mr. Richards is dead, I believe.
He is dead. He's dead. So, man, I'm just crossing my fingers. Now, listen.
Get him out of here!
The Yankees...
Get him out of here!
The Yankees need to just... Just cannot stand them. Cannot stand the Yankees. We've been all the reasons that you want the MLB to be this big time show are because of the Yankees. The Yankees have put this team. Now, of course, if Nick Howard is here, he's talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates, and yeah, sure, they don't help either. But the Yankees are that team that want the MLB season and how it's structured to be right in their zone. They hate going over the salary cap, yet they want to be a really fantastic team. The Yankees can go and shove one. That's what they can do. I hope they suck this year. I really do. But if they suck, I don't know who's going to be really good in the AL, to be honest. Being unbiased, looking outside of a window. Other than that, yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is kind of like seeing what the prospects do for each teams if you're kind of going in. Gentlemen, I do have, I think once we get closer to the start of the season, I will have, I think I'm going to do a top 5, I'm doing my top 30 power rankings. I'm going to do 5 teams each day, and I'm going to really make it something special. Not just go, here are the White Sox, what do they got? No, we're going to give these teams their ultimate haters guide props. So that's what we'll probably do here soon. I'm going to have to bounce it around and see how we can get these guys on here, but it'll be my official power rankings team, and we'll see how I do at the end of the season. I was kind of close last season, but not too much. We'll see what happens. I'm really excited. I got a whole spreadsheet. P4 knows. I got the whole spreadsheet. I'm getting it all done, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, excited for baseball to show up, show around, and do something else.
Yep, baseball's right around the corner here. Great insights there from K-Stell, main man for Way Out West. K-Stell, you got our call of the week for us real quick, and then we'll get to everybody's favorite part of the show so we can get this wrapped up nicely. But do you have a call of the week for us?
Oh, yeah, I do. There were a couple calls out there in the universe. Some that people did not like. I do not know if they're going to hear the sound on the live stream. For you guys listening, the sound is so unbelievably goofy. I don't even know how to explain it to you. I wish you guys could hear it. I'm going to turn it down, though, because it's so unbelievably loud. Okay. Is this Purdue versus Indiana? I believe. I don't know. I really have no idea.
Correct.
So, as you can see here, we're in a bit of a situation. This guy is by the bottom of the basket. This guy is getting up, trying to move and run out of the way. And here is our man in stripes. Don't know his name, but we will play it real quick. Oh! Whoa, what happened there? So we're crying about that. We'll go in slow. This is a slow motion take here. Every single angle you cannot see it happen, but once you get to the spot where you can see the wind up, the follow through, and you know what the finish is going to be. So we'll go slow motion here. Brother gets up. Now.
That's a classic donkey kick in the nuts right there.
Bro, that is it. Just his foot is right there. I mean, it's clear as day that is a donkey kick to the nuts. And what makes it even better is homeboy right here is just staring right at it. I mean, clearly. And this guy, he's so upset, he just forgets that his nuts were tapped. And is complaining. He goes, "What are you doing?" I mean, look at this right here. Oh my goodness. So, I don't want to go into the details. They went and reviewed this. The coach said, "Please look at this." And when a coach says to look at an F1, they have to risk getting a timeout. It's like a challenge in football. He goes, I want you to look at this. The crew looks at this, and they come back with nothing. Nothing. This is an F2, you're ejected from the game. And we've had 2 of these happen. And this one right here is by far the most clear and convincing, egregious stomping on the nuts. And I couldn't really get the video to show what happened, but it was a tangled mess going down to the basket off of a rebound. I mean, clearly he's right here, and he just kicks him right in the nuts, and he is not ejected. Nothing happened. Not one thing happened. So, congratulations to the Stripes of Big Ten. They're lame.
Love that.
They're really lame.
Best angle there. Great call of the week there by Mr. K. Stout. So now we're going to get to our favorite part of the whole evening. We've got a little bit of Smarter Dumb coming at you live. Here we'll give you an updated of it. So from last week, we're on week 2. I had 3 points. Howard had 2. Kyle had 1. The rules stay the same. If you don't show up, you get a 0. So this gives an opportunity for K-Stel to maybe gain that second spot and get out of the all-terrible wheel of punishment, which we still need to get a bunch of you dudes.
It's getting warmer here
on your punishments, but we got a pre-workout from Main Man from Way Out West. It's still not there. We got smelling salts from Howard. We'll have a big palooza about it sometime when we get everybody's punishments done.
What if P4 just swallows vinegar?
No, because he's. I tried to have him do a energy drink, and he still was being a butt about it. So we'll figure it out.
An energy
we'll
drink?
Get these punishments.
Like the shotgun.
Shotgun.
Okay, that's.
I didn't say Red Bull. I said an energy drink.
That's more.
Only 150
that's scarier than doing half a.
I saw someone do it on the internet 2 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, a Chad.
Oh.
Yeah, a Chad, bro. P4 is a Chad. Did you not notice that? He's
No.
Chad. If his name was not Peyton, it would have been Chad.
Didn't know we had a Cole Weber doppelganger in here.
That is what it is. All right, P4, tell us our questions.
I was watching a movie. No. I should do one of those. I didn't. We're heading back into NBA season after the All-Star break, and we talked about the All-Stars last week. So now I just want to see where you guys are at if you're watching any NBA games. Who leads the West?
And wins?
Who leads the West? What team is number 1 in the West? We got an answer?
I got mine. I
got mine.
Let's see it, gentlemen.
OKC. OKC
is correct.
Let's go.
Uh-oh, Nick Howard. Sorry, bud.
Is Houston number 2 still, or
No, I can tell you who it is.
Is that
it's the Memphis Grizzlies?
Really, Nick Howard? Congratulations, Memphis Grizzlies.
Who leads the East?
Oh, I know this one too.
I think this is easy, and I don't even know the East that well. I assume. Okay. Oh, we're ready.
It's not a trick question.
Let's see it, gentlemen. We ready? Boston. The Cavaliers are correct.
Oh,
let's go, baby.
You're right. The Cavaliers, they're just on a roll.
Yeah, they've been playing really, really well.
I still think Boston's a really good team.
Right. They're still a championship contending team, obviously, but
I forgot Cleveland.
Donovan Mitchell.
Forgot Cleveland's just
Darius Garland. Mobley.
They're just offensively.
They're good this year.
Dog shit. Shotgun. No, he cannot shotgun a brew on the he cannot shotgun a brew.
We'll get banned from YouTube. Sorry.
All right, this one I do have it down. But I feel like it's too easy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slightly change the wording a little bit.
Okay.
For the point, who is the betting favorite for the MLB World Series title of 2025, and what are their odds? The current Vegas betting favorite. I'll see what the answers are. Maybe plus or minus 50 will get you.
There's no such thing as minus. I don't care. There's no minus.
No, you couldn't have a minus, but I'm saying within the odd.
I know the team. I don't know what the odds are.
Yeah. It's
We'll see.
like a, yeah.
All right.
I got my
Ready?
answer. Yeah.
Let's see it. Dodgers plus 450. Dodgers plus 225. It's in the middle, plus 300. Plus 225 is crazy, PC.
I don't know anything. I have no idea what the plus or
That means
minus is.
So plus or minus 100 would be about a 2 to 1. Like it's
Okay,
like
yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know 100% how much that equals out. That's how much I don't know about the
About
betting
2
world.
and a
I knew
quarter,
the Dodgers was
little
the
bit
answer, but I knew they were like a favorite by a lot. I didn't know 225 was such a
So
low
for
number.
reference, second place is the Atlanta Braves at plus 750.
Okay.
What?
okay.
They're plus 300 to win the title?
300. Yeah, so really, if you want to get your money back, what I would do is I'd take the Dodgers. There's a little betting 101 if you want to hear it from the dog. Bet 101, take the Dodgers plus 300, and then pick 2 other teams.
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't
Three
you?
other teams. And then what you would do is if the Dodgers win, then you still win $100. But if those other 2 teams win, then you're set.
Yeah.
Plus 10,000, plus 20,000.
I mean, like, what are the Mets odds?
We can look at that in a second. But,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next question is semi-related, so let's not talk about too much. There are 3 teams tied for the longest odds to win the World Series. Who are all the 3 teams? Need them all for the point. 3 MLB teams. Longest odds. I think 1 NL, 2 AL. 2 NL, 1 AL.
Do they
I know there's an
have...
AL and an NL.
I think it's 2 and 2. 2 NL, 1 AL.
Well, you got an answer, PC?
Let me put down 2. Here, I got them right now. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll put them down. Just these are random.
Alright, just close your browser when you're done looking it up.
Yeah, I will. 100%. 100%. If I know I've got one of them right, but the other 2,
That's
don't
why
know.
I wanted to make it the 3.
The one's obvious, but okay. All right.
Let's see it.
I got White Sox, Rockies, Miami.
White Sox, Rockies, Cubs. The Cubs are going for a championship this year, PC.
Oh, I didn't know. I have no idea. I'm not a baseball guy. I have no clue.
Colorado is the 3rd team.
Oh.
What's the second team?
Miami.
What's the first team?
White Sox. You got it 1.
Hey!
K-Stel 3 for 3.
Hey.
Those odds, any guesses on what the odds are?
I'd say probably their percentage of winning the World Series.
No, not percentage.
Or the odds. Oh,
Plus
man.
10,000.
I'd say plus
Higher.
14.
Is that plus
14,000.
Plus 50.
50,000?
Vegas is willing to lose their ass if you
Oh,
want to bet on the fucking
hey,
White Sox to win their World
Hey,
Series.
they won't, but like that's
If
insane.
you get that one right, congratulations.
Holy
That's how
cow.
they offset the market.
Oh
'Cause it
yeah.
can't just all.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You have to be able to lose your ass. That's why there's all in. You have to be able to lose your ass for people to even take you guys seriously. Mr. and Mrs. Win Nightclub, give me a ring. I'll help you out. I'll be a shark. Final question. We're coming up to the NFL draft, and obviously Nick Howard's on here. He can't talk about his pick for the Tennessee Titans. They have the first overall pick. Now, we're not positive, but it is a possibility. It's not far-fetched of an idea to consider the Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter, as the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. Since the merger, 1968, how many Heisman Trophy winners have been picked number 1 overall? What a question. Go ahead. Time starts now.
1968.
So however many drafts that would be, whatever Super Bowl we're on, minus 1.
I'm just trying to guesstimate, thinking of all the ones I
So
know.
48.
Say,
No, we're not on Super Bowl 49. We're on Super Bowl 59.
Oh, so 58 years then, sorry.
you got to get the answer right. No closest to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see what your guys' answers are. I'm in charge of the rules here.
All right, I
Do
got
you
my
have a number written down?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see it, gentlemen.
At 8.
26 and 8. Both of you guys are off. 16. You know, PC, there has been 25 in the history of the NFL
Oh, okay.
draft. But
I had no idea. I thought my first guess was 12, but I thought that was a little low, so I went a little higher. But yeah, that
I
makes sense,
was
16.
I was at
Yeah.
11, and then I was like, I just don't know. Oh, first overall. I don't,
Here's all of the Heismans to go first overall. Jay Werner of Chicago in 1936. Tom Harmon in Michigan, 1941. Frank Skinich of Georgia, 1943. Angelo Bertel, quarterback of Notre Dame, 44. Leon Hart, tight end of Notre Dame, 1950. Isn't that crazy? You got your hunchback of Notre Dame, but you also got your quarterback and halfback of Notre Dame. Paul Hornung of Notre Dame, quarterback 1957. Billy Cannon, halfback LSU 1960. Ernie Davis,
wait, hold on.
halfback linebacker fullback
Hold on.
1962.
Hold on.
Syracuse,
When did the merger happen?
1967.
Okay. What quarterback did you just say a second one?
Paul Hornung,
When did he get
56.
drafted?
1956.
Okay, so the question was, since the merger, how many Heismans have gotten drafted?
First overall. He was drafted first overall and was a Heisman and played post-merger, but when he was drafted, it was
Oh, okay. So playing in the post-merger. Okay.
well, no. When the fucking draft happened, were they merged or not?
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, you're okay. You are right.
I know. I made up the question. They weren't grandfathered in.
I was like, that's
To my
what
question.
it sounded like. I was like, were they just
No.
grandfathered in from?
Terry Baker, Oregon State, quarterback, 1963. And the first pick in the NFL draft, post-merger, I believe, was 1968. O.J. Simpson, running back,
Yeah.
USC.
Nice.
Since then, we had Jim Plunkett in 1970, the quarterback at Stanford. Earl Campbell, Texas running back. He ended up going to the Houston Oilers. Earl Campbell, Billy Sims, Oklahoma. He went to the Detroit Lions, 1980. George Rogers, running back, South Carolina. He went to the Saints. Bo Jackson, Auburn, first overall to the Buccaneers. Didn't play that season, fun fact. Held out for more money and played in the MLB. I wonder what team he played for in the MLB. Vinny Testaverde, Miami quarterback, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the very next year, that's funny. Get burned on one Heisman and go, okay, we're trying it again. Carson Palmer in 2002, USC quarterback to the Cincinnati Bengals. Sam Bradford, Oklahoma, 2008, St. Louis Rams. Cam Newton, Auburn quarterback, 2010 to the Carolina Panthers. Jameis Winston, Florida State, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma, Cleveland Browns. Kyler Murray, Oklahoma, Arizona Cardinals. Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU, Cincinnati Bengals. Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama, Carolina Panthers. And Caleb Williams, Southern California, USC, quarterback for the Chicago Bears. So that's a cool list. Some busts, some nots. I mean, would you count Bo Jackson as a bust? First overall pick, never played for the team. Forfeited the rights before the 1987 NFL Draft. Raiders selected Jackson in the 7th round of the 1987.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there you go. That does
Yeah. Yeah, total scores quickly currently. I'm at the top of the leaderboard with 5. K-Stel has taken over that second spot with 3, and Howard is at 2. Hopefully Howard can join us again so he doesn't get back-to-back punishments, but we don't know. He might be saving the Penguins in Antarctica again. All right, let's go quickly right on to the horn of the guys. Say their final thoughts. Let's go K-Stel today first. What are your final thoughts for the people out there?
First of all, I think we hit a record amount of views during the live podcast. We are at 18 views during the live podcast. That is a record for Dudes in Sports. So
shout out all our
there we
followers.
go.
18's pretty good, man. You guys are great.
I don't know if we hit a concurrent view record for like a certain period. We were at like 5 for concurrent viewers, but it's okay. Yeah, I mean, baseball's coming up. NFL mock draft stuff is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. The NBA will probably heat up soon. We're not talking about the Four Nations face-off. Yeah, and college basketball, one of the greatest times of the year, is coming up too. So I'm excited to just kind of plow our way into that instead of kind of finding some, I thought solid areas before that, big time moment shows up for us. I thought we did a good job of, putting that entertainment value in right before it happened. So very excited to see what happens coming up into the very full part of the season without basketball. Or not basketball, football.
Yeah, great stuff there for K-Stel. Don't know where the main man from way out west went. He'll be back here just hopefully. There he is. I can see him in the background. But be on the lookout for our upcoming pods every Sunday night. We have a year coming up. Mouse. That's a
mouse.
That's a mouse.
Bow,
Main man from way out west. You got any final words for the people?
Oh yeah, fun time UFC. We got some other stuff going on. State wrestling just happened last weekend. Heard some of the kids from Vashon did pretty good. Congrats to them. Great time with the boys last Saturday at UFC Seattle. Football's coming up. We're in mock draft season. Mets are playing baseball. I'm so pumped. Nick Madrigal dislocated his shoulder, non-throwing arm, so prayers up to him. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery, but maybe this opens up the Jose Iglesias reunion that we have been hoping for with the New York Mets. I have to beat PC in a 2K My League fantasy draft game tonight, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Ha! Funny.
And goodbye, folks. Donate via Super Chat. Yeah, thanks for being along for this ride. We're almost a year in, and we're getting better and more fun. And PC's still butthurt about sports shit, which is I don't know if we'll ever get over that.
No, it will never change. It will never change.
It's gonna stay there. And Kyle,
Kyle's Kyle. Yeah, so we're almost up on our year. We actually will have that March Madness pod. We didn't have one last year. We couldn't get things set up this year, but there will be a full March Madness pod. Be looking forward to that. Sundays, 7:30 Pacific for you West Coasters out there, 9:30 for you Centralists. And we will